Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. This is not the full-blown proper Sunday chat thing, I'm just doing a quick video. I've got to water my mounts, so they should have been done yesterday, but I was out all day. So I'm just going to do that while I'm chatting, and really it's just to say that we had a great day out yesterday. The trip to Mathers, they are very welcoming when you get there on one of their tours. You get an introduction with your tea and coffee and cakes and things, and you know, and then Jim takes us off. And they've got a new way of doing it now, because the group of 20, there's 2 places in the nursery now that 20 people can't really get into, so they split the group into 2 for a couple of parts. So, like, you know, the first 10 go there and the other 10 go somewhere else, and then swap over, sort of thing. So slightly different. The video clips that I've got, I did film a fair bit. Hannah's done some close-up stills as well, so I'll add those in places. I'll probably get 3 videos out of it and separate them out. I'll do the Pleone house as one video, as a separate. It is a separate glass house, totally separate, and that's all that's in there. And then the Odonts, the Oncidium house, I'll do that. And even though there's other genera in that particular glass house, I'll do everything else as a separate thing, if you see what I mean. We nearly didn't get any Cymbidiums filmed because they split the 2 groups into 2. I ended up nearly missing that, and I had to go back basically, so there was hardly anybody in there when I filmed the Cymbidiums, and that was a bit quick as well. Anyway, so there's some good stuff to film, and let me get on with this watering, because Hannah and I today, a good use of Hannah's time is we're going to take a trip to the recycling centre with all the bags that we've accumulated over quite a long period of time. There's a huge pile out in the carport, and if I do that with Hannah, I only do half the work. And given that when you get to actually the recycling centre, the skips are massive and they have stairs up and down. That number of stairs up and down times that number of bags, I'm not sure I can do that in one go. So that's good use of Hannah's help, if you know what I mean. Now these 2 that I'm watering now, these are my anosmum. One of the mounts is Kiki's off of the mother plants, and the other one is the mother plants, and they have still not come back into growth. No sign of new growth on these yet. I don't know what they're waiting for. We've got the longer days. I mean, I'm sure they're still alive, but they're not doing anything. And this is the trouble with a lot of my dendrobiums. They start growing too late in the year to get full-size canes. So I end up with short stubby canes. Nothing. I mean, anosmum canes grown in ideal conditions outside, you know, in the right environment, they're over 1 metre long. Mine aren't even, well, about 6 to 9 inches. They're not right. So that's not those. That's those over there. And then these over here, we've got the Oncidium that we actually mounted not long ago. That's actually got a new growth, so that is coming into growth. The other 2 pieces aren't yet, but these pieces all had roots, so it's just a matter of them getting going, really, and hopefully that should do well. And then the rest are all dendrobiums. This is the only non-dendrobium mount I've got at the moment. The little Jenkinsii, that hasn't lost any leaves during the winter months, nothing. It's not growing yet, there's still no signs of new growths. It should be coming into growth now, or blooming, one or the other. I don't think it's big enough to bloom, it was only a small piece that Lynn gave me. But it's still alive, it's kept all its leaves through the winter months, so it's just a matter of getting it to come back into growth, really, which it will probably do when it's good and ready, but it should be doing it now, end of March into April. Right, and what's this one? The trouble is, these haven't got labels. I'd have to go back to the original videos. This is Dendrobium Brimarianum, and it was a couple of kikis. Well, the first kiki has put on new growths, and those are still growing, and the other kiki has just started a new growth. So this one is in growth, yeah. So we should get some new roots and some possibly even more new growth than we've got there. But it's coming to the point now where the dry period that these have been getting through the winter is now too long. So I'm having to water them more frequently because the dry period is too long to do them any good. They need to stay moist now. And this was, what was this? This is Signatum. This was in a pot. So this is a recently mounted Dendrobium from a pot. Yeah, and I mean it's got roots and it should be okay. It's mostly kikis growing on canes, but I mounted the whole lot, you know, the old cane and the kikis, to see what they'll do. That's that one. And then this one here is a single, it's a giant kiki, but it is nothing more than a kiki. That's got a new growth just starting, and that is the Dendrobium nobile variety Cooksonianum, I think it is, but it is the nobile species. It's just a variety of that species. It's not a hybrid. That's going to be difficult to get to bloom, but it's not going to bloom on this size plant. It's going to have to wait. The way I could get this to bloom is that it could go outside for the winter and only come in when the temperature is going to drop too low, like say below 5 degrees, and it could stay outside. That would get it to bloom. It needs to be cold or it won't bloom. Not cool, cold. So we'll see what we can do with that. And then this is a bunch of kikis that Lynn gave me that the label's faded. I do have what it is in my notes, but it's not looking happy, but I think it's going to grow. We've still got swollen canes. There's a new leaf on this particular cane. That's a kiki off of that cane, I think. That's obviously a kiki off of that cane. But I think it will come back into growth, whatever it is. But it's, you know, it's just a matter of now of actually bringing them back into growth. I mean, literally, if I was watering them without talking on the video, then they'd have taken half this time. So they're not taking long to look after. There's no reason why I can't keep up with the watering. Get my towel in there. Right, so that's that. There's not much else going on out here. I have a workload. I've got the videos from the weekend. There'll be, as I said, I think I'll turn that into 3 videos. I won't post them on consecutive days. I'll at least do something else in between each one, otherwise it's a bit samey. I know there's all different orchids, but it's still, you know, videos of orchids at a nursery, that the concept, so I'll put something in between. We've still got repotting and mounting to do, so there's some of that going on. And I'm getting to the time now where I need to think about getting on with the changes to the feet on this staging, which involves cutting some wood up, staining it, drilling some holes, and once I've done all the preparation, which I'll do separately, I don't even need to touch that, I can do all that separately, and then at some point I need to get all the plants off, turn it upside down and take the feet off and put them back on, you know, with the new timber to hold them in place so that they don't collapse like they did last year. So we've got that to do, ready for as early in May as I can get them out there, basically. Any that are still in bloom at that time won't go outside until they finish, but those that are finished blooming. I've already got one that's finished blooming, you know, so there will be some more as they go along. And they'll all go outside. Gardening stuff, there's bits and bobs to do out there. It's mostly weeding, quite honestly, but it needs doing. Yeah, we've got the big hedge still to cut. That may be done the next time Hannah comes down, which is I think it's the first weekend in May, and it should be the last weekend in April, but she can't come that weekend because I'm not here. Guess where I am? I'm going back to the Mather's nursery on the Saturday, just on my own. I've just booked it separately. Lynn would have come, but she's busy that weekend, so she can't, so it'll be a trip on my own. It's a Saturday morning tour this time round. And I'm going there really specifically to see the Peony house, because they're late this year. So although I've videoed what there was, there's some of the more distant shots. You can see there's absolutely tons and tons that weren't in bloom yet. Whereas give them another 4 weeks, most of them will be. Some may be starting to go over a bit, but that'll depend on temperatures between now and then. But yeah, it should be quite a spectacle, and it's worth going. It's just such a nice day out, and that won't even be a full day, because that'll be a much earlier start. To get there, it starts at 10:30 and it's 2 hours long, so I won't even bother worrying about lunch. I'll just come home and have something when I get home. So yeah, it'll be a nice day. So it's especially now I know that they do it differently. The coffee and the tea and the cakes are while they do their introductory talk. Now last time they left them there so that as people were milling around they could help themselves. This time it all got cleared away, and as we just had our pump lunch, Hannah wasn't hungry enough to have any cakes and biscuits. She thought, oh, I'll have one of them perhaps a bit later on, because they were all gone, all cleared away. I'll remember that next time. Yeah, so I've got another trip to the Mather's Foundation at the end of April, which will come round quite soon, only 4 weeks away, so it won't take long. And then we'll do that again, and it will be different. There'll be different things in bloom, you know. So, and I'm going because I enjoy it there. You know, I'd live up the road if I could. I'd be up there every day, if you were allowed, which you're not. It's not open to the public. And this time, because I'm not going with a block booked Orchid Society visit, we got a special discounted rate for booking the whole tour. So there's 20 spaces available. We took them all, so we got a discount for block booking and being an Orchid Society. This time I've got to pay full price. But like Hannah said, where else can you go for 15 quid and see a spectacle like that? So I'm more than happy to pay the full price this time. So we'll see how we go. And another thing I'm going to do, probably not this week, although we've got the weather for it this week, but it's half-term holidays, so the kids are off, and parents like to find things to do when their kids are on holiday. So for the next 2 weeks I'm not going to be doing much because everywhere will be a lot more crowded. The week after that I'm hoping to go to that secret woodland garden. Those of you that have been around the channel long enough, I went there once last year and it's quite a spectacular place. So I will be going back there to have a look at the spring bulbs and, you know, the water features and everything. There's lakes, there's waterfalls, little streams, and with all the bulbs and the leaves just coming out, I think that'll be a bit special. So we'll do that as a garden visit. That's definite. I don't want to miss out on that. And that's just up the road. I think it's 8 miles. Could nearly walk it, couldn't I? Yeah. Anyway, so that's a few things that are coming up, the workload and stuff, and watering out here. The frequency's got to get closer now, not leaving it so long. That means I have to get the RO unit on more often, that sort of thing. But that's what happens, you know, when you get into better weather. And talking of better weather, this coming week, is supposed to be really nice with much warmer days, lovely sunshine and all that sort of stuff, but it's still cold nights. Yeah, so still got to put up with that. So I'm still having to pay for the heating in here at night. Daytime, when I'm here, as I said, this door stays open and this lot all shuts down for the day, so it's actually saved me a fair old bit. And anyway, thanks for supporting the channel, as always on a Sunday, doing your bit. I've got a new member in the Buy Me a Coffee app. It's an unusual place to become a member, but it is one of the things they offer, you know. The Buy Me a Coffee I tend to think of as it's a one-off donation for something that was a bit special for you, like a video that was just what you needed for your plant or plants or whatever, that sort of thing. So it's like a one-off tip. But yeah, somebody joined as a member, that's good. We've got the patron site, that is a membership thing. You know, that's for making a regular small monthly contribution to help support getting the new plants and all that sort of stuff. So there we go, and thanks for everybody who watches the videos. You're getting a bit more on the bonsai side of life nowadays, simply because this is the time of year when a lot of the work gets done. And then when we get to shaping, styling and wiring, all that sort of stuff, that's later in the year. But in between the two, there's a bit of a gap where not much goes on, apart from watering and feeding, obviously, getting the things to grow. And same with the garden, it's more maintenance this year rather than major big deals, so we've got some of that to do. And Hannah was impressed with the planted border out here, the fact that it's filling out nicely. She sees it once a month. I see it every day, so I don't notice the changes so much. Anyway, so that's the sort of thing that's going on, and it's our breakfast time now, which is a brunch really, it's not breakfast time. But we have to remember in our minds that the clocks changed last night. So I got up this morning and I looked at the clock and it was 5:27. And that's a sensible time for me to get up. That's a lie-in. And then I thought, well, actually it's 4:27. That's what it would have been if I hadn't moved the clocks. But what was good news was obviously Mojo hasn't adjusted. He's using the old time with his body clock. So for him, that was his breakfast time, somewhere between 4 and 4:45, which is when I normally get up to deal with it. So at the moment, it's working quite well, you know. So I'm not having to get up at silly o'clock anymore, which is good. Anyway, I shall see you in the next video, whatever and whenever. Now, I normally don't do an orchid video on Monday, I take a day off. And we'll see how that goes, because the fact that I've got clips already filmed, ready to go, I might actually put one of the Mathers videos together for tomorrow. I'm sure some people will be looking forward to those, and others not so much. There are some that are not that keen on nursery visits and orchid shows. They prefer what goes on here. And then there are those that absolutely love it. So I will always do the variety to try and please as many people as often as possible. But there will be some videos that some are not so keen on. That's life, that's how things go. You're going to get them anyway. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.